Hello, welcome you guys. In this video today, we are going to be talking about the nodal shift of 2026 moving into 2028. That's right, the North and South Node are going to be moving signs from Virgo and Pisces into Leo and Aquarius on July 26th, and will be there until March 26th, 2028. Buckle up, grab a snack, grab a drink. Let me know what you're munching on. I'm a Taurus. I like to know. I like to know. I love food. Anyways, thank you all for your patience with me actually getting this video out. I had to evacuate for fires. There's going to be a whole story time on my other account about that. So, whew, I've tried to film this multiple times and so many interruptions have happened. So, we're just going to have some patience for me as we dive into this energy. For those of you who are new, hi, I'm Izzy. I go by Astraemia here. We dive into the themes that are moving with astrology focused on lunations and a weekly forecasting. I go live every Sunday at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time to talk about the themes moving throughout the week. And of course, the one week where there's so many things happening was the week that I had to evacuate. So y'all, I'm proud of you. I would love to know how this last week has been. Check in or join my Discord. I would love to know. I'd love to hear how Barball's biscuit unraveled for you. For me, I moved. So, just settling into this video, we're going to be diving into this nodal switch, talking about the themes, the archetypes. We'll tap a little bit into collective themes, but for those of you who are new, I like to invite in more of a personal responsibility into the astrology and understanding as within, so without, as above, so below, vice versa. This understanding that the cosmos are this direct reflection of our own internal landscape. So we're going to be pointing the mirror back to ourselves and really looking at where is this happening within us? Where are these themes and these nodes asking us to grow and expand? And it's a powerful one. I'm really excited to get into this. So, first off, what the frick is a node? What are they? What's going on? The nodes are mathematical equations that show us essentially where the moon crosses paths with the earth, and that's how we get our lunar and solar eclipses. So, it's just an ability to track those things. Now, in astrology, we see these as these deeper themes and cycles. Our South Node representing the space where we're more comfortable in, the territory that's familiar. If you believe in reincarnation, now I'm not here to subscribe anybody to any specific belief system. You do your own research, you believe what you believe, but the South Node can represent past lives and or a past life can be 10 minutes ago. Time is relative, right? And the North Node is sort of that growth edge, that thing that is calling us into the wild, into the unknown, into this unfamiliar territory that's really stretching our capacity, right? And you'll find throughout, even in your own personal journey with working with your own nodal pathway, that you tend to oscillate between the two of those. Now, I will say, if you're interested in understanding your chart a little bit more deeper, I have, at the time I'm filming this, 7 spots available for the month of August for natal chart readings. And then I also have eclipse portal readings, like a nodal shift. So if you're interested in understanding how what I'm about to talk about, how it's affecting you personally and the eclipses that are going to be happening and how they're moving, down there. Okay. All right. So these nodes are switching from Pisces and Virgo into Aquarius and Leo. Let's talk about what we've been moving through as a collective for the last year and a half, which it's really been this letting go and letting God. North Node in Pisces has been asking for the ultimate surrender. Surrendering patterns, surrendering habitual things. South Node in Virgo, these systems, these structures, the analysis paralysis, the needing to know, the needing to understand, to have the answers to. And I'm a Virgo rising, and it was my nodal reversal, so I feel like I'm the best spokesperson to talk about this sort of shift where it's moving from this filing cabinet of answers of what you have, and Spirit just saying, well, what if you didn't have access to any of that? What if you could just trust? And it's been a massive trust fall for a lot of people, just trusting in the subconscious growth. And of course, it's more personal based off of where it was landing for you. But as a collective, it's been this deeper, like, Jesus, take the wheel kind of vibe, right? Asking for a deeper faith, a deeper trust in something bigger than yourself. For a lot of people, I mean, I've seen a lot of movement of people returning into their beliefs, different spiritual modalities, different religious modalities, as well as a opening of spirituality and healing modalities being more widely acceptable, and understanding mental health as a need, right? Understanding the need for moving through those bigger emotional themes and having support in that. Now, this shift into Aquarius and Leo, bear with me, guys, because I was sitting with Spirit and I was like, how do you want me to articulate this to the collective? How do you want me to articulate this to the audience that enjoys the way I deliver things? And Spirit said, why don't we use our loved and well-known dystopian novel turned movie Hunger Games? That's right. That's right. Yeah, Hunger Games, guys. Hunger Games. You can see even in my voice, my facial reaction, like my body language, that there is going to be a little bit of discomfort that comes up, because when we look at the story of Katniss Everdeen, the heroine of the story, who, ooh, my ears just went in and out, who volunteers to save her sister. And then it unfolds into this greater, bigger thing. Okay, if you haven't seen those movies, please, it's time, or read the books, right? And I say this because sometimes when we're observing these themes from media and from movies and from storytelling, it's a little bit easier to digest, but there is some truth in what moved through in those stories. And I want to break it down with the astrology that's happening. We need to talk about the South Node in Leo. What does that mean? What is the South Node in Leo bringing to our attention? We have to understand the archetype of Leo, and understanding that Leo is the light. It is, I like to think of the archetype of Leo as the campfire of the zodiac. Everybody wants to gather around Leo and to orbit Leo and to share in the light of Leo. And there is a beauty in the energy of Leo. And we have a lot that's going on with this Leo energy at this time. And I have to name it now. Jupiter is in Leo. And I'm going to just say this flat out, that Jupiter is a little bit like a red herring right now. A red herring is essentially used within storytelling or books or movies that essentially grab the audience's attention and distracts them. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. Okay. Okay. You guys catch my drift? I'm talking about our everything that's happening in our world right now, right? What are the distractions? So I want us to really understand and work with the energies that are present and understanding them in our personal drama, our personal life. Whew. There is the South Node being in Leo is exposing to us false light, where we may have performed for attention, where we may have gotten our needs met by shining a specific quality of our light, of our energy out into the world. And what Jupiter is doing at this time too, and Jupiter will be moving into Virgo later in 2028 or 2027, but at the start of this, Jupiter in Leo is kind of expanding the energy so we can see it so clearly. And the image that Spirit gave me was literally how we trim hair, where you have to pull it all the way out and then trim it. Yes, I need a trim. I think that was also a passive aggressive way of Spirit saying, trim your hair, Izzy. But it's this pulling things out in front of us so we can see it. and choose what we're trimming off. I heard like trimming off the fat, right? I hope I'm making sense. There's so much to talk about here. I feel like I'm afraid this video is going to be an hour long, but if it needs to be, it needs to be, and I'm okay with that. I know y'all enjoy hearing me talk about these things. So this South Node in Leo is asking us to understand the quality of our light, right? Our own personal vitality, that solar plexus energy. So looking at where Leo is within your chart, and I will be talking about that later in this video. At the end, I'll go through just a brief overview of the areas of life that this expansion is moving through into the evolution of Aquarius, okay? This South Node in Leo is bringing up, I feel like I've said this 50 times, false light. Where you are performing to receive attention because it's all you've known how to do. There's no shame in this. When I'm bringing this up, and what Spirit is doing is bringing up, this is no longer authentic to who you are trying to be, who you desire to be. Okay? And Jupiter in Leo is kind of bringing up the like, wow, look, maybe bringing in more attention, bringing in more kudos, more of an audience to witness you, depending on where this falls in your chart, where there may be more energy in this area of life. It's kicking things up. It's stirring the pot so that you can see what is mine and what is no longer mine, as a gnat flies in front of me, right? The South Node in Leo, we are being asked to step away from our desire for approval, for the okay from the director of our play. Who is that? Who have we outsourced that authority to? Because I really keep wanting to bring this back to this understanding of this theater, this drama that is the Leo energy. You are the main character in your life, your sun, right? That is the core energy that wants to be seen the most within our own natal chart. And at this time, there's this deep need of understanding and reflecting on your own quality of light. You may be realizing as the South Node moves through Leo that the light that you've generated thus far in your life is not sustainable for the vision that you have for your future. North Node in Aquarius. So there's sort of this, it's very interesting because Jupiter brings in this very interesting edge because it's bringing up the energy. It's like almost like a dopamine hit or a artificial, man, they just brought in like artificial things to jumpstart stuff, but then becoming reliant on it, right? Where we're getting the opportunity to get a jumpstart into finding our core energy, but there's a sustainability issue because you can't generate all this on your own, hence North Node in Aquarius. Okay. Let's talk a little bit about the North Node in Aquarius for a moment, because we're going to be going back and forth between these two energies because they work together. And it really is this understanding of the past pattern, South Node in Leo, understanding where we've been performing and what we're moving into. So what are we moving into? We're moving into the North Node in Aquarius. And I have to name the fact that we have Pluto in Aquarius at this time. Big collective changes happening. This is just the kickstart of the next 30 years of Pluto in Aquarius. This is the moment. This is the change. And this is Viva la Revolution. This is Do You Hear the People Sing? This is Power to the People. And so where within you have you just been staying on your own, staying in silence, staying in this, I'll just cultivate my own life? Interesting, I said life, I meant light, but that's a part of this. So when we look at the North Node moving into Aquarius, there is this need to see the bigger picture. And I just heard lights flashing. That's like a song, like an intro to a song. Because they keep bringing up. Okay, I'm just going to say this flat out. My own personal perception on the collective shift and how this is going to be moving through in our society. There's going to be more disclosure. There is going to be more understanding of the falling of false lights. So celebrities, people in power. There's going to be illumination around the corruption, right? Very clear, very like, and it's sort of this idea of how, I'm like, how Aquarius moon do I want to be in this, guys? This understanding of how we use media to distract the masses and how it's all just a game. Okay, there's going to be a deeper exposing of this. Okay, I'm going to have linked down below my solar eclipse in Aquarius breakdown that I wrote about on Substack, so you guys get a deeper dive into some of that, so feel free to read that. There's going to be an exposing of false prophets, false celebrities, these people that are using their light for corruption, for the not the right reason. Okay, it's not going to work anymore. Pluto is in Aquarius, and now the North Node's in Aquarius, and they will be meeting on January 26th of 2028, which is going to be a pivotal day in our society. I'm just going to say that here now. Feel free to look at that chart. And they will be meeting at 6 degrees of Aquarius. Okay. All right, you guys still here with me? I'm just going with this energy. How does this relate to this Katniss Everdeen story that I brought up? Because I feel like relating it to this is such a beautiful way to understand this energy, because Katniss is chosen, and instead of people see her taking this light, right? Taking the spot of her sister as this humble, beautiful thing, right? I'm really relating the South Node in Leo as the capital energy, right? There's this sort of like naivety of energy where it's giving capital people, where they've got this whole ensemble of how they dress, how they perform, where they think it's just a game, that this is just for their entertainment, the suffering of people. How does that apply to you? How can we reflect that to you? Where within your life, within your own internal energy, if we can get that deep, where you've been performing just to be liked, just to get I'm seeing like Instagram likes, the numbers on the reels, this feeding in, like feeding the monster, right? Within this algorithmic monster that we're all sort of a slave to, right? South Node in Leo, this artificial light, literally artificial light, instead of understanding the light from within and allowing that to be the thing that attracts things in. And that is where we use the gift. I'm sorry, a lot of this is a bit channeled as I'm moving through it. The light within, a big thing that has been coming through with this nodal switch is using that Jupiter in Leo to actually refract the light that is shining on you to the people around you. Allowing things to come in. Say, for example, you are in a public eye for whatever reason, using that to expand into other things around you, to the people around you, to your community, to the collective that surrounds you, hence North Node in Aquarius. This is you moving into an awareness of equality. It's not just you. And you can't get to where you desire to go at this time without the collective consciousness. And the collective consciousness has been writhing and ready to jump into action. This is no more. No more are we okay with corruption, the corruption of light, right? And when we look at the energy of Leo, it is this inner child energy. Wow. I didn't think I was going to go this deep with this. The purest form of light that we have is children. And as somebody who's worked with kids, it's like my number one thing is the protecting of innocence. Right? And there's this deeper look for you to look at where your innocence was corrupted, where that was taken from you, that raw light. Ooh, and this is getting deep. But this is the kind of work that is going to be asked of you. Oh man, wow. Is where was your light taken from you? And where was it exploited for the personal gain of maybe other people around you? Parents, teachers, other authority figures. And where you got roped into this game of being a puppet. Yeah. And so this North Node in Aquarius is saying, I'm seeing the star card in my mind's eye, which is ruled by Aquarius, which is like, how can we hold on to hope? Because that is the energy, because you doing this work within you of seeing where there is still lingering pain, where there is still pieces of you that have yet to be processed, of the pain, of the corruption, of your light being taken from you, and reclaiming it and allowing it to burn so brightly that you are your own sun, that you are your own generator, that you can shine upon the people around you and allow them to receive that. But you're also around other people that are doing this exact same thing, and their light is refracting onto you. And it really is this collective lighthouse energy where everybody is beginning to become their own generating of light and sharing it, and it being shared with you, so you are never without. So we look further along the story of Katniss Everdeen, and sorry if this is spoilers for some of you, but like, come on, where have you been? You need to watch it. Where later into the trilogy, is it a trilogy? I don't know. Later into the books, where she's recruited to be this sort of beacon of hope. And then understanding like the deeper corruption even behind that. Yeah. Yeah. And to understand I can use this position that I'm put in, this light that I'm put in, to actually make a change instead of following these false archetypes in power, and I can make this change. So, North Node in Aquarius, how are you going to take radical responsibility for your own personal revolution, revelations, the collective themes which you actually want to feed into? How you want to be a part of this. The image that comes to mind is like a generator of change. There's this deep need to understand how other people are special too. It's not all about you. Highlighting people around you where your skills, where you're adept at certain things, and you can look at other people and go, actually go to them for this. Instead of you trying to be the one who has it all going. The North Node in Aquarius is asking you to connect with like-minded people, to look at community as a resource, to go to your neighbors, to go to your communities, to actually go and do these things. And there's this advancement of technology that comes in with Aquarius too. So how are we using technology to our advantage? Everything is a tool. How you wield that tool is up to you. Okay. So having that awareness of how you wield the energy and the tools available to you and the people that surround you, how can you let them shine and let them have the light? I gotta have a sip of my drink. I have so many different notes like scattered around here. I've got my notepad right there that I've been jotting things down. Watch Les Mis. Let's just imagine it going a different direction. The bottom line with this is, are you ready? Are you ready? Oh my gosh. That was a Freudian slip, which I'm going to plug one of my favorite books that I read in childhood. It's called Hawaii for Wadney Wat, and it talks about this rat who had a speech impediment, and he couldn't say his R's, and his whole classroom knew about it. And so they understood what he was saying because they could understand that he was working, like it just was a part of who he was. And it ended up becoming his superpower because they had a new bully that moved in who didn't know this about him. And then they were playing a game, and I shared this in a channeled message a bit ago, but it's coming through, and it's 3:33 right now. Collaboration, the Holy Trinity. Anyways, my channeling and astrology, they just work together now. In this game that these animals are playing, because it's a book about like a classroom full of animals, they're playing at recess. Simon says, and he said, Rodney says, Simon says, go west, meaning like go rest. But his speech impediment, he said west. So all the kids, all these animals go to sleep, pretend to sleep, and the bully starts walking west. Why do I bring this up? Why was it mentioned? Why did I have a moment with that? It's because this understanding that this thing that makes you uniquely you, that is your superpower. That's that Aquarian energy. What sets you apart from the whole, but is actually the gift to the collective. That is what is most important at this time for you. Okay? Understanding that thing that you are, that you've kept secret. Like, it's like your hidden secret superpower, that one thing, right? We can look at your own natal chart to understand that Aquarian theme for you, where that feels like maybe I should just keep this hidden. Maybe I'm just a lone wolf. Maybe I don't belong. And that is a bit of the Aquarius energy. It's such an interesting dichotomy that comes through with Aquarius, because Aquarius is seen as this lone wolf, the alien, the archetype that doesn't just fit in. There's something odd, there's something strange about Aquarius. And I love that I've got this rainbow shining on me right now too, which feels so on point with this refracting of light, sharing the light, allowing it to connect to other people. This nodal shift is connecting collectives of people to actually work together to make humanity stronger. So what role are you ready to play in your life that connects to humanity? Okay? Look at where you have been on your own for too long, pulling your own strings for too long. There's sort of this like, we've got to reveal who's behind the curtain. Is it still blaming mom and dad? Is it blaming past pains? Right? We have to look at where our light was taken. We have to reclaim it, allow that light to shine, be refracted, and shine so brightly and so unapologetically that it connects to the collective, and that we can shine light on the things that matter to us, on the causes, on the communities, on the collective themes that we're ready to move and transform into. All right. Phew. I'm probably going to have so much more to share on this, but I just wanted to get this out. I will be doing deeper dives and as the eclipses come up, because there will be specific themes moving through each eclipse. And down below in the description box, I'm going to have the key dates for the eclipses. You can also, I'll put the website that you can find all those on as well. Yeah, I want to break down just a brief overview of where this is affecting you based off your rising sign. I have off to the side my quick breakdown, so I'm going to be reading through what themes are coming through. So Wow, 30 minutes of talking. Whew. Oh, right. So for my Aries risings, the North Node is shifting into your 11th house, South Node into your 5th house. So everything I shared here, you have the natural chart. It's tenfold this energy. So for your 11th house, this is really talking about leaning into your community, who you surround yourself with. In the South Node being in your 5th house, it's looking at those themes of creativity and releasing the old modality of like, this is what pleasure is to me. This is what it means to be seen, right? It's actually connecting to this greater cause. All right. For my Taurus risings, the North Node is shifting into your 10th house, South Node into your 4th house. So this is a big pivot. This is your main axis that is being highlighted right now. Wow, so big shifts in career where you may be moving into different directions. Your theme of how you want to be seen in the world is changing, but we have to address the root, literally the root cause of why you've been staying too long in certain spaces or careers or ideas, and let your light be seen. This can be a full shift, but we have to address the root cause. Gemini risings, this is shifting into your 9th house and 3rd house axis. So moving into the 9th house, new belief systems, new ideas coming through where you're literally changing your truth, how you believe, what you stand for when it comes to those greater belief themes. 3rd house energy of releasing those old patterns around how you communicate, your language, how you use your words, familiar thinking patterns. It's a massive rewiring that's going to be happening for you. For my Cancer risings, this is happening on the axis of your 8th house and 2nd house. So big shifts when it comes to how you relate to your value, resources, money, shared resources. So that 2nd house energy is what you're stepping away from, where I heard it's like, it's my money, it's mine, it's mine, it's mine, right? It's this sort of like what you've built for yourself, and actually allowing it to connect into your intimate relationships. What does it look like to have other people have stock in what you've created? Moving into this deeper intimacy with the people around you, those close connections. You could be moving into signing things, signing things, but deeper transformation when it comes to how you share your energy, and not just having it. I'm seeing it, it's almost like it's been collecting dust. Like you've been doing things and it's been collecting dust, and it's like now time for it to be connected in a more intimate way, with a more intimate connection. This could be in your partnerships, romantic partnerships, or this could be like business partnerships. For my Leo risings, this is on your axis of 7th house, 1st house. The North Node moving into Aquarius is highlighting your 7th house, while the South Node is, I just went through this, guys. Buckle up. The South Node is in your 1st house. There is going to be a massive release of your identity as you know it. Now, with Jupiter being in Leo, it's really expanding your personality, but also showing you where some of that isn't true. And I'm going to give a moment for you guys a little bit deeper here, because where are you sharing this false light? Okay. And really like trimming back until you have your core energy. It's not this artificial self. And then the 7th house of relationships, the North Node moving through there, it's understanding, how do I connect with the collective story around relationship? There's this big rewiring that's happening when it comes to your romantic relationships and the people that you actually, I'm literally seeing for you guys, in Avatar, the Blue People movie, where they connect like that. It's like, how deeply are you ready to connect with people at that level, at like literally merging and bonding? And so there's this understanding that you have to address how you show up as an individual so you can call in those partnerships. If you're in partnership, it's a deepening. Okay. For Virgo risings, the North Node is moving into your 6th house, South Node into your 12th house. So this is a very interesting shift. The North Node is really bringing in service oriented work. So this collective, it's like, I heard being like a Patreon, interesting, a patron to your collective community, to the people that you serve on the day to day. There is a deepening into creating a more clear container for that. Having a daily routine to keep it clean. I'm seeing like, I heard like you're doing a lot of energetic custodian work here for the collective, where you're actually helping clean up systems and like creating clarity for the community and for the collective. And then the South Node is moving through your 12th house, which is showing you where you've been keeping yourself isolated, where you've been keeping yourself in the shadows, and where you've been keeping your light hidden for too long. And it's time for your light to be of service to the collective, okay? And for my Libra risings, this is your 5th house and 11th house axis. So you're leaning more into stepping away from like giving everything to the community, because I know you Libra risings, you guys are givers TM trademark. Moving away from what you're really being asked to look at the communities that you're in, the friendships that you're around, the people that are in your collective sphere, and where you've been letting your light sort of feed them, and leaning more into allowing your life to be a little bit more of wise selfishness, and letting your creativity and your joy drive you, and let that attract in a true sense of community, a true sense of belonging. Have a little sip. All right. Scorpio risings, this is moving into the axis of 4th house, 10th house, similar to my Taurus rising. Very intense time where you're kind of going deep at this time, where you're looking at where the 10th house being that South Node energy, where the South Node in Leo is touching. It's having you notice where you've cultivated a personality in your jobs, in your sphere, in the way people see you, and noticing what is true and what is not true. And it's funneling into your 4th house, because home right now is calling for your attention. Creating community in your home, in your environment, in your sense of self. This is what is true stability for me. Is the community I'm around right now building a sense of safety for me? Do I feel safe within myself? So there is this deep draw into what is safety for me. And oh, it's like a utopia of safety. How can I actually start building that vision that I have of home for myself now, presently? But you have to address how you've been performing out in the world, and coming back to creating new root systems for yourself. It almost feels like you're a fish out of water right now for my Scorpio risings. I love you guys. Sagittarius risings, this is moving through your 3rd house, 9th house axis, with the North Node in Aquarius moving through your 3rd house, talking about communication, your voice. You're really finding your voice at this time. It's giving me like when Ariel gets her necklace back from Ursula, like you're finding your voice. The 9th house is being activated as well by the South Node in Leo, and it's really drawing out the false beliefs, the false philosophies, the false prophets that you've put on pedestals, or even deities, or masters that you've looked up to, and it's realizing like, how am I just using my voice, right? Looking at that false light that you've had there, and really allowing it to funnel into, how can I use my voice for the collective, and let myself be a channel for that. So some of you guys might be moving into spaces similar to doing channeled messages, or like actually just using your voice for truth at this time. For the Capricorn risings, this is your 2nd house, 8th house axis, similar to my Cancer risings, just a little bit flipped, where you're moving from being so deeply merged with everybody around you, where you've had sort of tethers that have been holding you. You're really seeing where, oh, my Capricorn risings, I love you guys so, so much. I love you. I love you. Where you've been used. Where people, because you are so freaking capable. You are so capable. And this is drawing out the sort of dependence that you've had on other people, or others have had on you. Where you're still entangled or intermeshed with people, places, and or things, money, that isn't serving the version of you, the true light underneath all the shadows of the 8th house that wants to be seen, and moved into the 2nd house, which is you actually understanding your value and your worth, and like how that is so important to the collective. You standing on fucking business within yourself. We need you guys. You guys are the builders. You guys are the architects. And you actually understanding your worth and value, it's a massive pivot point for everybody else. So understand your value. Look at the people that you are intermeshed with. And I'm hearing like parasitic energy where people are feeding off of you, and or vice versa. You might be feeding off of them. Draw it in. All right. I love you guys. Aquarius risings. Holy shit. You're going through it. North node in your 1st house, South node in your 7th. You are moving through this moment of moving from, oh yeah, the relational terrain where you feel of service and feel like illuminated in your connections, right? Where that's where you get to be seen and you get to have that light that is radiating from you and noticing, am I connecting in partnership in a way that is actually fruitful for me? Who am I? Who do I want to be? And it's through partnerships, and partnerships may be coming through at this time, that actually shows you, who am I truly? Who am I truly? And moving into that North node, moving through your 1st house of identity and really leaning into, this is who I want to be. Whether it's partners uplifting you or partners showing you, oh, I'm settling here, I need to move into this different energy. You are moving into choosing yourself and letting your freak flag fly, because my Aquarius risings, that is your greatest gift. So let yourself be weird. Let yourself be wacky. Allow it to be the thing that actually catches the false lights of even like partnerships, people that are performing to get your attention. You're like, wow, they're really cool. And then you get them in your field and you're like, they're not actually cool. I just caught the surface level glimmer of them. And I heard like, yeah, it's like a fishing lure where you were like, wow, cool, shiny thing, I'm going to go after it. And then you got hooked and you're like, that wasn't good. And where maybe you do that too, right? Anything I share, it can be reflected back to you. I love you guys. Pisces risings. Whew. This is your 12th house, 6th house axis. The North node is moving through your 12th house. This is highlighting a space that is already deeply familiar for you, your sort of collective consciousness. Ooh, I felt something stab me. Weird. Let's talk about the South Node first, moving through your 6th house, where your old routines and your old ways of moving through the world, those sort of structures of your day-to-day, are being asked to be stretched and expanded and looked at and released so that you can do something a bit different. You might be called to rest a lot more at this time, to allow your subconscious mind to do a lot of processing. You're going to be doing a lot of energetic heavy lifting for the collective, I feel. You naturally do that. Your 12th house is Aquarius. This is a lot of deep emotional healing at this time, leaning into receiving mental health help, like help within mental health. Sorry, guys. Been talking for almost 45 minutes here. But leaning into mental help, actually, and allowing yourself to be held, allowing spirit to hold you at this time, and leaning into this, I feel, is like this rest after this expansion you've gone through with the North node moving through your 1st house. This is like allowing what has moved the last year and a half to settle for you guys, and to look at your routines and allow those to shift and change so that you can move into a new operating system and be of service. Okay. If you made it to the end of the video, holy cow, I love you guys. I don't know what I've said for the last almost 45 minutes, but we're here. I love you guys. I'm sure I'm going to be sharing a lot more on this. And the best way to stay updated is subscribing to my newsletter. Every Monday, I send out an email for the astro forecast for the week ahead. So definitely subscribe and join my Discord for other updates as well. I love you.